Hey everyone, so it's a little early here, and this is actually my only time to record today, but when I woke up, I was quite surprised to see, we've got some Doctor Who spoilers, because apparently I think it was San Diego Comic-Con that came out, but regardless, I can't be my normal boisterous self, because I don't want to wake anyone up, so I'm going to be kind of doing this more light recording regardless. Some really exciting cards coming. Apparently, I believe, again, it's a Commander Precon. It's so, Precons, I believe. There's 4 of them, I think. It's so hard to keep track of all the things these days. And again, literally, we just got done with spoilers for Commander Masters. And then, of course, we're just slapped with this as well. So, here we go. So, quick disclaimer. I actually am not a Doctor Who fan, so I know pretty much nothing except for, like, base level things for Doctor Who. So, yeah, sorry, I'm not going to be able to talk about the lore and everything like that, but please let me know in the comments below all the background on all this awesome stuff. So here we go, the 10th Doctor, a 3/5 Time Lord Doctor, because that's a thing that costs 3 blue red. It has, whenever you attack, exile cards in the top of your library until you exile a non-land card, put 3 time counters on it. If it doesn't have to spend, it gains to spend, and also pay 7, time travel 3 times, activate as a sorcery. Now, time traveling means for each suspended card you own and each permanent you control a time counter on it, you may add or remove a time counter, then do it 2 more times. So, yeah, Joryer decks out there, you better be excited about this. The Joryer, I mean, is the one that obviously, exiles and suspends things. And so essentially, hey, you need to utilize this commander in a very, very flashy way. Basically, attack. It doesn't matter who you attack with. Again, it doesn't have to be the 10th Doctor. You don't have to put the 10th Doctor into danger. You can attack with anything, essentially. And when you do, well, you get to exile things. You get to cast things for free. You get time counters on them. By paying 7, you can time travel, to actually get those time counters off. You could also add time counters onto things if you really want to. There are certain things that actually care about having counters on them, and you get benefits when those counters comes off too. So make sure you're taking that into account as well. But yeah, overall a very interesting kind of cascadey commander that has a nice twist to it, where it's like, okay, cascade, but also with it can be any card. It doesn't have to be mana wise. It doesn't matter what the mana is. The cost, I should say, but also you can kind of play around with the amount of counters on those by removing them. So yeah, some big ramp in here could be great, so you can make sure you can activate that time traveling, and also ways to attack and ensure maybe you got some extra combats, maybe some extra turns if you really want to be incredibly gross. So there are definitely some interesting potential ways to go with this kind of a commander. Moving on, the Tardis. So the Tardis, even I have heard about, and I'm not a Doctor Who fan again. A 2/4 vehicle with flying that costs 2. Whenever it attacks, if you control a Time Lord, the next spell you cast this turn has Cascade, and you may Planeswalk. And it's got crew too. So this is a low to the ground vehicle that, well, again, giving your next spell Cascade can be a massive thing. And also, maybe I forgot to mention this, I believe, this is kind of like a plane shifting kind of set, essentially. So, or set. Precon. It's early. Anyways, a low-to-the-ground vehicle, though, that as long as you've got a Time Lord, again, like the one we just talked about, or obviously a Changeling, creature that has Changeling, that would count for this as well, because, a low-to-the-ground vehicle that gives you Cascade for your next spell, that is huge. And, of course, they'll be able to Planeswalk when it comes to that kind of format. That can obviously be a very good thing as well if you want that. Again, you may Planeswalk, so that's also a nice thing. Moving on. Exterminate. Now this is a very spicy card, and even I've heard exterminate, so obviously that's got into even my cultural awareness. Sorcery for 2 and a black, replicate, tap and untap Dalek you control. Whenever it casts a spell, copy for each time you cast its replicate cost. So basically, if you've got some Daleks in play, which is a creature type, then you can tap, and then you can just start exterminating more and more creatures. Again, I did mention with the last card, hey, Changelings will have an impact. Changelings will definitely have an impact with this. If you've got maybe like a Lord's Tribal deck or something like that, where you just have all the Changelings in it, Changeling Tribal, you're going to absolutely love something like this, because, hey, cast this, utilize your Changelings to destroy a lot of creatures, and also make those players lose 3 life for each of those creatures. So that can be a big play. Now, obviously, you're kind of tapping down your army. Unfortunately, this is sorcery speed, not instant speed. That being said, if you can take out enough creatures that would be threats to you, being tapped down might not be that big of a deal. So this is a very interesting and very spicy card. Next up, the Parting of Ways. Apparently sagas are coming in this as well. For 4 red, the first lore counter, exile the top 5 cards of your library. For each non-land card exile this way, put a number of time counters on that card equal to its mana value. If it doesn't have to spend, it gains to spend. Yeah, that seems very good. Again, that's basically, our commander that we just talked about, the 10th Doctor, but kind of like just rolled into one card. Not rolled into one card, rolled into one lore counter, but only the top 5 cards. So you can get a good amount. I mean, you could potentially get 5 things off the top of your library, get time counters on them, based on their mana value. So the bigger spells, you might have to wait a little more, but you get bigger effects potentially. The second one, time travel, then time travel. So again, kind of like the 10th Doctor, it's kind of not 3 times. I guess 3 times by the time you get to that, right? Because you're going to be getting to your next upkeep for that, so you'll already get one off. And the third one is for each opponent to destroy up to 1 target artifact that player controls. So yeah, some nice, effect right there as well to also control the board a little bit. So you have some potential free card advantage, essentially. Free cheating out of spells, essentially. Delayed potentially, but that's okay. And then also some removal as well built into this. So yeah, I can definitely see Saga decks utilizing something like this. So yeah, it's a very interesting card, and again, can fit right into potentially like a Joyra deck. Again, the time traveling Joyra apparently. So there you go. Next up, we've got Bad Wolf Bay, because like I mentioned earlier, yeah, this kind of like a plane chase Commander Precons essentially. So you can utilize different planes with it as well. That we're getting new planes, and these are a couple of them that I'll be going through. Bad Wolf Bay is one of them. Plane Earth. At the beginning of combat, your turn, exile up to 1 target creature, return to the battlefield under its control at the beginning of next end step, and then also when chaos ensues, cards can enter the battlefield from exile this turn, then planeswalk. So quite interesting. Obviously with that, different upkeep trigger essentially, at the beginning of combat on your turn, I should say. Being able to blink a creature, that can be huge. First of all, it is up to 1 target creature. It does not specify you control. So it doesn't specify an opponent controls either. So this one is, again, for any creature. So you can use and abuse an ETB with this, or you can say, you know what, I don't like that creature over there. I'm going to temporarily get rid of it, and then I can swing through, because again, it doesn't come back until the next end step. So there you go. Moving on, we've got Fixed Point in Time. Whenever you encounter a fixed point in time until your next turn, if a player would planeswalk as a result of rolling the planar die, chaos ensues instead. So that again can be quite interesting, that kind of a phenomenon. Quite interesting again when it comes to planar chaos. Next up, the Doctor's Tomb. Plane Trenzalore, I hope I'm saying that right. If a creature would die, instead exile it, and that creature's controller loses 2 life. So that can be, quite a bit. And also, over time, this can really add up. And secondly, of course, since it's adding up that much, also, this can really shut down those kinds of decks that really depend on creatures hitting the graveyard. So it's kind of like double punishment for players that, really care about reanimation, that care about self-mill, all those kinds of things. On top of that, whenever chaos ensues, redistribute any number of target players' life total. So that can be quite chaotic. Next up, Tardis Bay. Playing Gallifrey, hopefully I'm saying that right. The first spell you cast during each of your turns with mana value 2 or less, or 2 or greater, I should say, has Cascade. So that is, most spells, the vast majority of spells you're going to be able to Cascade with. I'm sorry, not Soul Ring, but, everything else essentially. When chaos ensues, gain control of target artifact, then planeswalk. So being able to, steal an artifact, that's pretty huge. And then, planeswalking afterwards. Next up, let's just talk about some of the tokens really quick. Alien Insect, that's a pretty sweet alien insect. I do not know the lore of Doctor Who, so my apologies. I don't know the significance of this alien insect, but it looks pretty sweet. Next up, Dalek. Yeah, even I know what this is. At least I can recognize it, I should say. But a 3/3 with Menace. So there you go. There is your Dalek token artifact creature. Then we've got food. I do not understand the significance of this at all. I'm sure everyone who watches the show absolutely does. And please let me know in the comments below what it is. But yeah, it acts like a food. Then finally, Clue. Obviously, it works the exact same as any clue in Magic. And again, I do not understand the significance of this one either, so my apologies for my ignorance with all this. But yeah, some really exciting new things apparently happening. I believe, again, there are 4 Commander Precons, so make sure you're on the lookout for that. I think they release in October, so I'm sure we're getting some more previews closer to then. But yeah, regardless, thanks for, sticking with me throughout this episode. And as always, thanks again, and have a good one.
This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.